Hey guys, Kyle here with ClassicBritish I just wanted to go over some details about this A65 engine that I've been working on. A lot of you guys work on Triumphs and Nortons. It's a whole different ball game when you're working on an A50 or A65. I've been working on this motor for the past month for a customer, and there's a lot of things that I've learned, especially with the bottom end. So I just wanted to give you guys some tips and tricks if you guys are working on a unit twin that will help you and save you a lot of time and money. So if you guys are interested in that, keep watching the rest of the video. All right, so the first thing that I wanted to talk about is camshaft bushings. So A65s are really complicated because you have two camshaft bushings on the timing side and then you have one on the drive side. So come on over here, I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. So there's two here on the timing side and there's a blind bushing on the drive side. Triumphs, you only have two bushing. So the problem with this is if you remove one of the three bushings, you have a misalignment. So if you remove one and replace one, let's say this one is worn, so you put a new one in it, and these two are original, you're going to have a misalignment. So it becomes very challenging trying to correct a misalignment. But what I did was on these two bushings, they were undersized, which means that the camshaft won't fit. I went ahead and honed them on the Sun and honing machine using a long mandrel. Once I did that, then I'm able to actually ream this side. What I'm trying to say here is, if your camshaft bushings don't need to be replaced, don't replace them. Even if there's a little bit of wear, just leave it. Once you start removing some of the bushings here, you're going to get a misalignment and then you're going to have more problems. So that is number one. Number two is the intermediate gear bushing. There's a bushing here and there's another bushing that goes on the outer cover. Just like the camshaft bushings. If you replace one, there's a possibility that you will have a misalignment. I corrected this one with two brand new bushings is I put the case and I bolted it to the timing side here, and I also line honed it on the Sun and honing machine, so it made it a lot easier to work with. All right, so the last thing that I wanted to talk about, which is probably the most critical one, is the crankshaft bushing. You can see what I've done. This is a new Kibblewhite bushing. The crank itself is on 10 under. Typically what I like to do is install a 30 under bushing, so it's much smaller. That way, when you bore the bushing on your mill, it corrects any misalignments and things of that sort, and you have more material to work with. So it's very, very important that you get this in line. I have a test piece here that I've made. That's 1.5 thou clearance. Tells me, and also tell you, that there is full alignment from one side of the case to the other. When you're working on an A65, it is very, very important to make sure when you put the bushing in, that the bushing is round and true and also in line. All right, so I appreciate you guys watching. Again, let me just go over it one more time. There is a lot more stuff involved with A65s and what I'm covering. Camshaft bushings. If there's a little bit of wear, just leave it. If the cam spins nice and free, you're going to be okay. You got 2050 running inside this engine. There's plenty of oil in there to take up the difference. Keep in mind that A65 bushings, like I said earlier, there's 3 of them for the camshaft, unlike a Triumph where you have 2. So there's plenty of support, you'll be good. Intermediate gear bushings, same thing. If there's not much wear on it, leave it alone. I will say though, intermediate gear bushings are also important because your contact breaker and your points, electronic ignition are on that gear itself. You're gonna have some timing issues. So it's also important to take care of that. But if there's not much wear on it, just leave it. Crank bushing, you can't do much about it. Don't skimp out on that. If the bushing is worn, if there's excessive clearance, make sure you take care of that because that is essentially the heart and the life of the engine. That's going to wrap up today's video. I appreciate you guys watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you like this type of content, we have more of it coming out. If you guys are on Instagram, feel free to follow us too. And with that being said, I hope you guys have a great night and we'll see you on the next video.